Hey guys, welcome back for your daily crypto forecasts. And as usual, I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin, BTC USD. And today, as an extra chart, I'm going to be doing Bitcoin Cash. I had this poll running yesterday on Twitter asking what extra chart would you like to see on YouTube tomorrow, XRP, Ethereum, BCH. And we have a clear winner here, BCH, with 41% of the votes. And we had 100 and something people voting here. So let's get into the charts. I have here the Bitcoin weekly, and God, this is like I've been saying, we need to bounce here. We're very extended after this capitulation. So I have been saying I expect a bounce and go back up to retest the 50-week moving average. Let me show you here, which is the red line. But when, I don't know, that's the question. For now, for the shorter term, this still looks extra weak. After such capitulation, making the target at 3,500, remember that was a target from this small triangle here, and we haven't even bounced that much. Not only that, we went down to the 200-week moving average, which is a very long-term moving average. Investors that are playing the very long-term game are supposed to be buying in this type of moving averages, in the long-term moving averages, and still we haven't seen a bounce, or as it looks right now, it's not even showing it wants to bounce. So for the short term, it looks very weak. But then again, in the other hand, this is too extended. It needs to retrace, and as I was saying yesterday, the price will always go back to retest the 50-week moving average. That happens in bear markets and in bull markets. As you can see here, it always, when it gets too extended from the 50-week moving average, the price just snaps back to the 50-week moving average. And right now we are very extended from it, so I expect a bounce and a retest. But yeah, for now, for the short term, still looking weak. I mean, if it's not bouncing hard on the 200-week moving average, if it just holds in here, like just consolidating at the 200-week moving average, then I would expect, continuation and another drop down before actually retracing and recovering. Daily candles here. So again, this chart, the daily chart, to me is the one that looks the most bearish. This downtrend is very strong. Again, it's not even bouncing up to touch the 20-day moving average. It's only staying here. So as I have been saying, probably this goes sideways here until the 20-day moving average catches up with the price, and when it touches, I would expect that it will push the price back down. We've been waiting for this since I have been updating the past few days. I have been saying the same, and the price hasn't moved very much, so it's still in play. 4 hours for Bitcoin, and here we can see a continuation pattern, which is consolidation and tightening and not doing much. This could be it's a potential head and shoulder. If it finishes forming and actually breaking out, it could be a head and shoulder. It could just be a tightening continuation pattern. It could be a rectangle if it bounces a little bit more, making a double top here and then retraces again. However you want to look at this pattern, it's a continuation pattern that indicates it's going to break in the downside eventually, and the way you get the target is you draw a line from the lowest to the highest of the pattern, and then you put it where you estimate the breakout will happen, more or less here, breaking the previous low here. And the target for this is just below 3,000. Is the same target I have been saying is 2,900 and something. It's at the level of the 15-month moving average as well. So yeah, everything is indicating the price wants to go just below 3,000 or retest 3,000, and then we'll take it from there, because if the consolidation is it's extended here before breaking down, maybe we get even lower targets. But for now, this is what I can read. Moving on to Bitcoin Cash versus the US dollar. These are the weekly candles, and my God, talk about being extended. This is some proper capitulation, guys. I have been saying I have no way to draw support lines because we are at the all-time low. So all I can do is speculate, I draw this parallel channel down, and the support for this channel is this line. It all depends how long it takes to get there. The longer it takes, maybe the lower it will go. But again, there's no supports here for me to to try and guess potential bottoms or bounces or anything like that. All you can do, I said that before in my previous video, all you can do is look at the fundamentals and look at market sentiment as well to help you out. This, according to technical analysis, is some proper capitulation, which we haven't seen in many coins yet. I mean, Bitcoin, BTC had capitulation, but not at this level. And when it comes to market sentiment, I see in Bitcoin Cash a lot of people saying Bitcoin Cash is dying, Bitcoin Cash is different than the rest of the market, it will not recover because people don't trust it anymore, because after the hash war and all the drama and whatever reasons they say, whenever you hear people say this time is different, or in this case is different, is exactly what you used to hear in the bull market when we were approaching Bitcoin $20,000. And some, like very few people were saying, hey, be cautious, take profit because this is unsustainable. And what most people would say is this time is different. This cycle is different because we're going mainstream. And this wasn't the case in 2014. Plus, this time is different because in 2014 we had the Mt. Gox hack. And whenever you hear people say this time is different, or in this case is different, first thing you want to do is, of course, do your own research. I do for Bitcoin Cash. I go and I look at the number of transactions, I look at the value transferred in Bitcoin Cash every day, I look at the mining pools, I look at all these different charts, at the developments. I do my research, and Bitcoin Cash is just like better than it was before. There's more development going on. Mining pools are joining. The number of transactions is going back up again, so it's happening very fast after the upgrade and all the drama. So yeah, there's really no reason to say this time is different or Bitcoin Cash is dead. It's just not. If you look at the fundamentals, it's better than it was before, actually. So yeah, for me there's no reason. This is an overreaction. Markets overreact in the upside and in the downside. It overreacted in the upside as well, but you can see all this craziness that happened here, this huge candle here, then a little bit of consolidation and another, crazy two candles here. This is not sustainable, just like in the downside is not sustainable either. So the moment this bounces, it'll bounce hard. This is just how markets work. Daily for Bitcoin Cash, it's just looking extra bearish. Just like Bitcoin, BTC, I cannot lie. I mean, this downtrend is super strong. You shouldn't go against this for the time being. It looks just like Bitcoin, BTC. It looks like it just wants to consolidate at this level until the 20-day moving average catches up, and then it will probably push the price down again. I mean, assume continuation and you'll be right more often than not. And for the short term, 4-hour candles here, similar with Bitcoin, BTC, is forming a type continuation type pattern here. It could be a head and shoulder if it breaks with volume, but if it doesn't break, which is what I'm thinking, I don't think it will break just now. I think it'll bounce a little bit more again and it just goes sideways and continue to tighten until eventually breaks. But in any case, you can start getting the target, estimating the target. So you go from the lowest to the highest, and then you put it where the breakout, you're estimating the breakout to happen, which I would say it's going to be when it breaks this previous low here. And your target for this is at $78. So this is only an estimation, but more or less, if this continuation pattern, if it breaks down, the target is around $78 or $79, something like that, and we'll take it from there. There's not much more I can say. We need to take it day by day here and candle by candle. Guys, just to back up what I was saying before about the transactions, I have here the chart comparing Bitcoin, BTC, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. You have the colors here. And this is cent coins in USD per day. I guess if I put this logarithmic, it'll be easier to see. So you see, Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, they've always been at around the same level here. Bitcoin Cash maybe went up sometimes and sometimes a little bit below, a little bit above, but Bitcoin Cash is the yellow one. And then here it went all the way down, obviously, because during the fork, people couldn't transact. I mean, you could, but for example, exchanges closed, deposits and withdrawals and transfers. I wasn't using it for, I didn't want to put my coins at risk during the upgrade. So no one was using it. That's normal during the upgrade. But right after the upgrade, you see here, it goes all the way back up again. So, and now it's even, it's almost at the same level with Bitcoin BTC. The amount transacted in fiat value. So you can see here also the number of transactions. You have a number of charts here that you can monitor. I monitor this almost every day. So here is the number of transactions. You see it's usually always like at the same level with Litecoin. Here it went up because of the stress test, but it wouldn't be fair including this data for the analysis. It's when there's a stress test, of course there's a lot more transactions, but they are smaller in value, so it doesn't really count. But other than the stress days, you can see it's more or less like with Litecoin. Then it went down to near zero, of course, because of the upgrade. No one could use Bitcoin Cash during this upgrade time. But since the upgrade finished, you see how this is boom, 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 going back up to normal levels again. And it didn't make it to the normal level yet, but you see it's uptrending. It's gradually going back up to normal levels as exchanges continue to open deposits and withdrawals and transfers, and as people, goes back to normal. It's not going to happen from one day to the next, but it's happened pretty quick, having in consideration that the fork was like very, very recently. So, and since the fork finished, things are going back to normal. Same for mining pools here. I remember during the upgrade, there were only 3 mining pools here. I believe it was Bitcoin.com, BTC.com, and via BTC. I think it was only these 3 pools, 3 or 4 pools. I think it was only 3, and I was not liking it at all. I was like, this needs to change. If mining decentralization doesn't go back to normal after the fork, I'm probably out of here. I don't want a centralized mined coin. So I was paying attention to this like a lot. I was sharing this with in my premium groups as well. I'm like, guys, I'm monitoring this. I'm hoping this will go back to normal, but if it doesn't, then that's not a good sign. But hey, right after the upgrade finished, everything went slowly back to normal. And now we're back to normal. We have right now 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 different pools. And right now it's low. It's usually, every time I check, it's between 11 and 13 pools mining it, which is just like Bitcoin BTC. BTC has usually between 13 and 15 pools. Bitcoin Cash, as of right now, has between 10 and 13 pools, so it's like the same level of mining centralization. Of course, there's a lot more hash, the total hash power, there's more in BTC than BCH, but when it comes to mining centralization, is the exact same proportion with Bitcoin BTC. So that's going great since after the fork. Developments on GitHub, we had more, like the same or even more developments. Commits, I shouldn't say developments, but commits on GitHub. We had the same or more on Bitcoin Cash, then even in BTC since the beginning of the year, since the bear market started. I have the time frame here from the beginning of 2018, and you can see the lead developer for Bitcoin Cash had committed 370. The second one 100, 40, 11. If we look at Bitcoin BTC for the same time period, we see here the 4 top developers. This one has 160, 160, 100, and 100. So if we add all together, this 160 and 160 is like 320, 420, let's say 520 commits since the beginning of the year, or since the beginning of the bear market. And for Bitcoin Cash, 7, I'm gonna say 400, 500, and let's just say 530, because let's just say 500, it doesn't really matter, 500 versus 520. So you see how the activity, of course guys, I'm not going into each commit and I'm not looking at how important each commit is or anything like that. I'm not doing that much, you know, deep analysis, but just an estimation that you can just look at it. And when people say, oh, Bitcoin Cash is different because it's a dead project, because no one is working on it and this and that, well, no, just go to GitHub and you'll see that it's far from being a dead project. It's actually the most active project along with Bitcoin BTC. So, you know, markets overreact. That's just how market cycles work, and it will pass. There's nothing wrong with Bitcoin Cash. If there were, and I was aware of it, I will be the first one to say it. So guys, that's all for the video of today. I hope it was helpful. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.